Everybody, welcome to episode 14, where I'll go over the top 10 things that I learned when it comes to doing business with contractors. This is not just when it comes to doing business with contractors with rental properties, but this also pertains towards doing projects in your own home. So this is everybody that owns a home, I think should listen to this, whether it's a personal private primary home or it is a investment property. I think it will be very helpful as far as how to work and do good business with contractors. And so it could be a good working relationship. So please stay tuned. All right, so starting off from the top. So number one, be mindful of referrals from your property manager. When he says, "I got a guy." So this is towards real estate investors. So not to say every time somebody says they got a guy, it is oh man, let me brace myself. But do not let your property manager have his guy go out there and do the job on the spot, whatever the repair is. Always make sure that you get a quote first. Couple reasons. For one, what I learned personally, was that the guy would go out there, he would do the fix really quick, but he would upcharge me. I mean, at least two times what the job was, but it was done fast. And so I feel like, and this is from my experience, if it is not something that is detrimental to the tenant's health, habitability, then hey, let's get some quotes. Let's shop around a bit, because you may be charging me, your guy may be charging me $800. Really, I could probably get somebody to do it for 400. So something to keep in mind. Don't be so quick to just let your property manager's guy go ahead and take care of it. He may be able to get them on the scene faster. So take that opportunity to say, hey, I would at least like a quote, and to get an assessment of what is really going on. Because what the tenant may submit as, some people have portals, right? Some tenants have portals where they can submit a trouble ticket. What they may submit may not be totally true, because obviously they're not a contractor, they're not an electrician, they're not a plumber. They may not know in detail what exactly is going on. They just may say or see, oh, the wall is wet and it's softening. When really there's a leak coming up from the upstairs tub trickling down to the downstairs kitchen. So number two, do not pay more than 50% down for down payment. This is a huge, because a lot of people, a contractor would say, hey, it's a $4,000 job. I need $3,800. I need $3,800 up front, right? They could take the $3,800 from you and just walk away. And now they made $3,800 for free. Vice, putting 25% down, 40% down. I recommend that you do that. Or what you could do is, and this works for projects that last, 2, 3, 4 weeks. I would say 3 weeks plus, where you pay them based off of milestones each week. So, hey, this week you paint the lobby, I pay you $400. Week two, you paint the stairs, I give you $200. Week three, you painted the closet, I pay you $100. And so with that, you break it down in increments. Now, that example I just gave you was kind of a soft example, because what you really want to do is you want to leave most of the work at the end of the job. So really it would be like 20% of the job of the payment will come up, and then another 20%, and then leave the other 60% on the back end of what's work left. Because if you only have like 10%, because the example I just said was a closet, right? That's small. They could just bounce off, because they already got 80%, 90% of the money. The other 10% is not really worth their time, because they probably have another job waiting on them. So if you have a bigger project that's going to take weeks, I would recommend doing it in increments, because it gives them an incentive and to keep going. And they didn't just get 70, 80% down, and they really have no motivation to really get the job done efficiently, fast, and being mindful of the mess they're leaving behind as well. So three, for these big projects, this is number three. For these big projects, or for projects that just may take days, periodically check up on the project. This is not micromanaging. This is protecting your asset and ensuring that they do not go too far into the job before you have to correct them. And when I say asset, property, or it could be the home that you live in, as well, is what was also what I'm referring to. You check up on it, see what's going on with it, ask questions, be inquisitive and intrusive, so you can have a better understanding of what is going on with that. Because you We're very clear. Hey, this is what I want. And so for you to check up on it 2 days later and see where they're going at, I had the same situation where I did a walkthrough of my contract, exactly what I wanted, very clear on my words and what I wanted. And I checked up on the property about the project about 3, 4 days later, called him up and was like, hey, this is not what we talked about. I wanted him to float the wall. So the wall had a bunch of bumps around it, ripples for whatever reason. Oh, for repairs from earlier, the wall being repaired in the past. So I wanted him to float it. Floating a wall means you pretty much are sanding down all the ripples or any old repairs, and then you're putting down a new, pretty much a new mix to mesh in with the rest of the drywall, and it gives it a clean finished look. This, if so, depending, for those of you that are interested in something like that, I would not recommend it if you have to do it throughout the whole house. Just put another drywall over the drywall that already exists and it'll be fine. But if this just patchwork throughout the apartment or wherever you're trying to do a paint job, it's worth to have it floated to give it that clean look. That way everything looks pretty even and you're saving money. You're not buying completely new drywall. And it's very time consuming, by the way, if you try to float a lot of walls. So number four, be clear on the job you want. Do your research on what you're asking to ensure you are giving clear direction and to make sure you are not being taken advantage of. So this is huge because this goes back to about talking to my contractor about the wall not being floated like I had asked. I did research on what, painting. It's not just, rolling up a wall of paint and calling it a day, especially if you have a home that, needs some TLC to it. Better example, actually, because with that was kind of a easy quick fix misunderstanding that actually I ended up having to pay him more because of more things that were identified. But I would say this is a better example of making sure that you don't get taken advantage of. I had the duplex that we have. We wanted to remodel the one of the two bedrooms, and the first thing that had to get taken care of was the kitchen. So I was like, hey, I want you to resurface the cabinets. I don't want new cabinets. I want you to resurface them. Oh no, contractor. Oh no, we need to take those things down. Look at them. They look like crap. And I'm just like, he's like, I would never lie to you. And I'm just like, no, I've done my research. I've resurfaced cabinets before. I know that those are resurfaced, you're able to resurface those. And come to find out, when we had got a different contractor, they got resurfaced. They look great. And so for those of you that about cabinets, right, you don't have to, if they're outdated, you don't have to get, all new or even a little bit of damage, right? You don't have to get all new cabinets. You can just take the doors off, paint the inside, paint the doors, put new door handles on them, and then, voila, they look like new cabinets. So you don't have to, and obviously, right, it's a little time you have to put into where you're paying somebody doing yourself, but you could really do resurface your own cabinets for under $500. You really could. If I was y'all, look that up on YouTube on how to do that, between resurfacing your cabinets and actually people resurfacing their countertops as well. So number five, have a due date and for the job and stick to it. So this is really big because before I try to do a project that would last a while, I try to be very clear. Hey, are you going to be juggling other jobs? Because if you are, I'm good. I'll find somebody else. Because what I don't want is, I don't want somebody trying to juggle my job and something else, and then the attention to detail that I require and need on my project is not given. I need you, especially whoever the contractor is, because for a lot of contractors, especially for big projects, what they do is they are, they know how to do a lot of things, but they're not a master at, everything. So, hey, yeah, the contractor may know how to build a cabinet or, you know, resurface a wall. I mean, resurface a cabinet or float a wall, but they may not know how to plumb. They may not know how. They're not an electrician, right? So they contract out. So what happens is, being that what they'll do is, I'm a contract out electrician, contract this plumber. I'm gonna go and do this other job that I know how to do while I contract that other stuff out. So that's what they kind of do, right? They kind of double tap so that they can, do two jobs at the same time. I don't like that, because what happens is, when I had one guy that was juggling jobs, he wasn't able to inspect them fixing the drywall before they painted. So the guys told him, "Oh, we're good." So he just took their word for it. So, oh, okay, they were good. Start painting. And so since he wasn't on site, making sure step by step things were getting done properly, we had to stop painting and go back and fix the things that I needed. So number 6, seek a company for big projects, and for smaller projects, it's okay to have that one man contractor. And so this is kind of something that y'all really should really it really has bit me in the butt, and I think a lot of people in the butt. And so also too, when it comes to big projects, this is kind of my criteria. If it's a repair or installation that affects the habitability of either where I live or my tenants, I want a company. I want to be able to call somebody, and it wasn't, if the person that did the job wasn't available, I can call the human resources desk. I can call the dispatch. I can call his coworker, his boss. I can get a warranty on the things that were done. If I had A lot of times when you get this one man to do it and he's got his friends, something could be jacked up, and then now you're trying to chase this dude down, you know, Joe Schmo, LLC, Contractor LLC, you're trying to chase him down. He's got one phone number and you can't get the rest of the things that you need to get done or get it fixed. If I have a company for these big projects, like the water heaters that I had gotten done, it's a $10,000 job. I'm not really trying to have somebody finagling with that, saying, I got a guy that could do it. And there's 3 water heaters I need to install. I'm not trying to have somebody that's going to finagle and say, I got it. Somebody else that kind of knows how to do it. And then this is big, because this is something that I had to get a permit and had to be inspected by the city. So I want a company, right? I want a company I can consistently call out. And if the city says, hey, you fail, I could call that person or call the company and they will send somebody out. Not, oh, when the guy is free, because he's probably already on another job. So now it's a hassle trying to get that guy to come back out to fix the things that he did, versus the company, right? They're reputable. They want to be reputable. They're gonna come out, do what they got to do. A lot of contractors are, pretty much pump and dump. Do one job with that person, and then they move on. They don't have the business concept of keeping the clients, and it seems to work. For some reason, it seems to work. There's enough work in the area I live in, when somebody can do business with somebody one time, and they can keep pushing to the next person and really not have had a good experience with that last person. But they already got paid, so on to the next. So just something to think about. Big projects, things that affect habitability, like for me, plumbing, for me, electricity, the water heater situation. Those are things where I would say, hey, get a company. For a paint job, get a one guy to do it. It'll be okay. If he messes up on a few things, it's paint, you could probably do it yourself. Number 7, never take the first quote. So find a few contractors. I would say get up to at least 3 quotes. And the reason why I say this is because you're gonna do, if I was you, do price comparison. Just, it's the same concept when you have stores that will do price comparison. You go to Walmart, it's $15, and then you go to Exchange, and they'll, it's 17, and you'll say, hey, Walmart has it for 15. Okay, we dropped the price. Same thing with the contractors. Okay, one contract says 1,000, one contract says 1,200, the other one says 800. I'm gonna go with that $800 guy. If now within reason, sometimes you get what you pay for. So definitely do your research and reviews on that person, if they're on Yelp and stuff like that. But usually, in my experience, $150 less, $200 less doesn't mean his quality is so far worse than the $1,000 guy. Maybe the $1,200 guy, but not the $1,000 guy, which would be the middleman. So if you worried about quality and you got the 800, the 1,000, the $1,200 guy, go with the $1,000 guy and the middle guy. So number 8, when you get the quote, make sure it's itemized. So this is huge, because some contractors just like to mix everything. So if I say I want to get drywall fixed, I want painting, and I want lights installed, they will jumble say, all right, everything for $2,000. Okay, well, I asked you for like three different things. Um, can you break this down? How much does it cost to install the light fixtures? How much does it cost to paint? How much does it cost to fix the closet and the toilet? These are all three different things, and they require materials. So break down to me, what is the late? How much labor will cost? How much will materials cost? And so one thing that this kind of goes into number 9, which is I recommend that you pay for your own materials so you can save money. Because what happens is contractors will upcharge you. If paint costs $50 when you bought it, it's probably going to cost $80 when you tell him or her to do it. So please make sure, look at when they get that itemized list, a quote, look at how much materials they need. Go and see how much you would have bought, you're going to pay for it if you went to Home Depot or actual paint store, or actual, appliance store, versus letting them get it. So that's definitely that was going to save you hundreds of dollars, by the way. And for those that are in the military, I know Home Depot and Lowe's, you're able to, if you sign up, you can get military discounts. So I think I saved like 10% off on things that I buy from Lowe's, Home Depot, by typing in my phone number. So number 10, inspect before you pay. So this is a huge thing that I had to learn the hard way. And just from a contractor sending me pictures, right? They send me pictures and it looks great. I'm like, all right, cool. Send the money. Boom. I go there in person. I'm just like, what the heck is this? This is nothing like what I saw in the picture. Or the picture was kind of like angled at a particular way that didn't show the fine details. And so once I gave the contractor the money, when I told him that he needed to come back, um, he never heard from the dude again. I was actually able to get my materials from him, but again, like, that was poor judgment on me. That was a mistake I made, and I would say for y'all, just definitely don't do something like that, because again, it goes back to the incentive. What incentive do they have to go back and fix it if you already paid for the whole service? They're not, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to come back. And at least in my experience, from what I've seen, so always inspect. It's Hey, this is, you're paying good money. And so one thing too that I've learned when it comes to having properties, whether it's in nicer areas or lower income areas, I've noticed that contractors base their effort that they put into the project based off of where the house is located. So if it's in a lower income area, they're like, you know, it's a lower income area. The kind of people that be here is not going to appreciate it. Don't ever let a contractor dictate, and this is for, I guess, investors, right? Or even if you have your only home, you have a primary home that's in an area that people would say like, this is kind of a wag area. Like, let me just have behind it. Don't ever let a contractor dictate the type of quality that they will provide, especially when you are paying them the same amount of money that you would have paid them had you lived in a better or nice neighborhood. If I'm paying you $7,000, I want $7,000 quality. So definitely check your contractors on that, because I've noticed that is definitely an attitude that they take, especially too if they find out that you are not going to live there. So they're just like, the person that's paying me is not even going to live here. So why should they care so much? You're paying good money, so I want good work. Also, too, there's people that are going to be living here. So why would they not want a decent place to live? They notice some of the same things that you may notice as well. Hey, I noticed that on this, with the flooring here, there's no shoe molding. Something's up. It looks kind of naked here near the stairs. Oh, there's no shoe molding. Oh, I noticed that when they painted the banister on the stairs, it looks like some paint dripped on the actual stairs, and the banister is brown, the stairs are white. These are things that they notice, that a tenant will notice, that obviously you would notice if you live there. And so that's something that I think y'all should definitely take in consideration. I think deep down it's kind of a pet peeve of mine, because it kind of goes back to some stereotypes that I'm not really a big fan of. And when it comes to quality, I'm really big on quality, and I'm really big on doing right by others, because when it comes to owning property, you are ensuring that they are safe and that they live in some place that would make them feel good. So to half behind it, I think it's kind of insulting, and it's really belittling. So, but off my soapbox about that. And so the bonus tip is, when you get the quote and you have it itemized, look what you can do to save money. So one thing what I do is, and so here's the thing too. So in order to make sure that you have a good relationship with the contractors when you get this quote, because you're gonna end up doing what I'm about to tell you to do. If you're gonna ask a contractor to come out with you and you have multiple things you need to look at, I would recommend that you at least give them, hey, for $50 50, for an hour of your time, I give you $50, something like that. Because what you're gonna end up doing is when you they do this walkthrough and they go through everything that they said they're going to do, start looking at what you could do yourself. And so that's gonna knock off hundreds of dollars. But the fact that you paid them the $50 to, hey, just thanks for your time, that it shows that's you paying it forward. So good example, contractor breaks everything down. Hey, this is how much for paint, this is how much for plumbing, this is how much to, reglaze the tub. And so, okay, great. Hey, my toilet's leaking. I need to get fixed. Well, that'd be $200. Okay, well, I only paid $100 for the toilet, so I'll fix that myself. All right, well, to put down flooring, $450. Hmm. Well, the materials is like $40, and it's literally going to take me like an hour and a half to do it, which is a small part of my weekend. I think I'll do that myself too. So now you done knocked off $650 that would probably take you 2 hours to do. So start processing in your head, or take the time, after you get all the quote. Obviously, you're gonna say, hey, contractor, give me about a day, let me look over everything, and start looking at things that you could do yourself. YouTube, for those that you're like, hey, I'm not handy, YouTube is a beast. That's how I was able to identify certain things that I couldn't figure out what was wrong just by looking at it. I couldn't tell what was wrong. YouTube has helped me on certain things that I was able to fix myself and save me hundreds of dollars. Yes, it is. You do save money when you have other people do it. But I do believe that when it comes to when you are either getting overpriced, which right now contractors are upcharging because it's supply and demand. The real estate market in general is doing very well right now, and there is a lot of work for contractors. So they have the opportunity, instead of charging at $1,500, they're probably going to charge 17 or $1,800. So that's where you kind of have to start getting a little, economically smart, and just identify, okay, what could I probably do myself here? Because in 6, 7 months from now, when the market, which I believe when the market is going to go down, this contract is not going to be charging this much. And I'm going to wish I would have, went another way about it. So that's my 10 things plus the bonus on when it comes to contractors, how to do business with them. It's not so much watching out from them, what they're going to do bad to you, but it's also about conducting business with them as well, to give them the warm and fuzzy, because they are also taking a gamble on you. If you give them 50% down or 40% down, they still are relying on that other 60%. So you also have to ensure that you give them that warm and fuzzy as well. Unfortunately, though, in most stories, it is about how a contractor did somebody dirty. But there are people out there that have done contractors dirty as well. Keep in mind too, I get one way that I've learned that you can protect yourself. There was a situation where somebody did listen to a podcast where somebody gave a contract about $5,000 to do something. He paid for 80% of it down, and the dude ran off, and he never heard from the guy again. What he did was he put a lien on his house. So what that is was when he put a lien on his house, you had to go to court or whatever, show proof of him paying the guy, found the guy, and so what the court did was when they put a lien on the contractor's house, years later he tried to sell the house, but he was unable to sell it until all liens are paid off. So when he sold the house, the guy got his $5,000 back from selling the house, from the contractor selling the house. So he definitely, yeah, he got that $5,000 check. So that is something you could do if you really feel like you got screwed and you want to chase that person down. To be honest with you, there's a couple times where I kind of got screwed out of like maybe $100 or $50, and I'm just like, whatever, I'm not going to find this guy. But I will write a bad review on Yelp or the Business Bureau. But if it's like thousands of dollars, then yeah, for sure, put a lien on anything that they own, so that you can ensure you get your money back. It may be years later, but at least they will not do this to somebody else. I think a lot of people when it comes to integrity, especially in this business, it's a lot of what I can get away with, or people only going to take serious what you are going to hold them accountable to. So when it comes to these contractors, it is a two-way relationship, but it is something you do have to make sure you are holding them accountable. Do not be afraid to speak up on what you feel like is wrong, it's not done right, or that you will do it later, unless it's just like it's so minuscule, like they sprayed paint and a little bit got on the doorknob. Okay, it's nothing to make an argument about. Now, if they sprayed paint and they got it all over the cabinets and they walk away and say job done, that is something to have a discussion about. So I hope that this was helpful. And as I continue to learn about building relationships and working with contractors, I will do another video and slash episode about this.